Nobody wakes up in the morning and decides to stay poor. Nobody prays for financial struggle. Nobody chooses to watch others get ahead while they stay exactly where they are year after year. But here is the uncomfortable truth that most people never want to hear. Some of the things keeping you financially stuck are things you are doing every single day without even realizing it. And the most sobering part of all is this: God already warned you about every single one of them. Not in vague spiritual language that requires a theology degree to understand. In plain, direct, practical language written thousands of years ago that is still more financially accurate than anything being taught in most schools and universities today. The blueprint for breaking out of poverty is sitting in your Bible right now. So today we are going through 10 things you do every single day that God specifically said will keep you poor. This is not a comfortable message. Some of these will feel personal because they are personal. But uncomfortable truth delivered in love is worth more than comfortable lies that keep you exactly where you are for another 10 years of your life going nowhere. Number 1. You are sleeping when you should be building. Proverbs 6 verse 10 to 11 says, "A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man." God did not say laziness might cause problems. He said poverty comes like a thief, suddenly, violently, and without warning when rest becomes your default mode instead of your reward. Look honestly at your daily schedule right now. How many hours are genuinely invested in building something versus how many hours are spent on entertainment? Scrolling through social media, watching other people live their lives through a screen, and going to bed having produced absolutely nothing of lasting value that day. The ant in Proverbs 6 has no boss. No motivational speaker, no alarm reminding it to work. It simply sees summer and moves because it knows winter is coming. Number 2. You are spending before you are saving. Proverbs 21 verse 20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but a foolish man devours everything he has." Most people operate on one financial system their entire lives: earn it, spend it, hope something is left. That is not a financial plan. That is financial chaos dressed up as normal living. God called the person who devours everything they earn a fool. That word was chosen deliberately and carefully. The wealthy do not save what is left after spending. They spend what is left after saving. That one reversal, paying yourself first before any bill, any pleasure, any purchase, is the single habit that separates the person who builds wealth slowly over time from the person who earns well and dies broke. Even 5% of every income saved consistently will change the trajectory of your entire financial life over the next decade. Number 3. You are talking more than you are learning. Proverbs 10 verse 19 says, "Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues." Proverbs 13 verse 20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise." The people who stay financially stuck are almost always the loudest people in the room about what they know and what they plan to do. The people who are quietly building wealth are the ones sitting at the table listening and asking questions. Every hour you spend telling people your ideas is an hour you could have spent executing them. Every conversation about what you are going to do someday is energy that could be redirected into actually doing it today. The market does not pay you for intentions, it pays you for results. And results require focus, silence, and consistent execution over a long period of time while everyone else is still talking about their dreams. Number 4. You are borrowing to buy things that lose value. Proverbs 22 verse 7 says, "The borrower is slave to the lender." Not inconvenienced, not slightly limited. Slave. Every car loan, every credit card balance, every buy now pay later purchase is a chain around your financial future. You are paying tomorrow's money for today's pleasures and robbing your future self of the very resources needed to build something real and lasting. The average person pays thousands of dollars every single year in interest alone. Interest on a car that is losing value every day. Interest on a credit card that funded a holiday that is now just a memory. Interest on furniture sitting in a living room. Every interest payment you make is making someone else wealthy while keeping you exactly where you are. Debt is not a tool for most people. For most people, it is a trap that feels like freedom until it is not. Number 5. You are ignoring small amounts of money. Luke 16 verse 10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." Most people are waiting for a large sum of money to finally start being serious about their finances. But God said the person who cannot manage small amounts will never be given large amounts. How you handle $20 reveals everything about how you would handle 20,000. The $10 you waste every week is $520 every year. The unnecessary subscription you forgot you were still paying for every month adds up to hundreds of dollars annually disappearing from your life with absolutely nothing to show for it. Small amounts of money consistently mismanaged over years create enormous financial holes that eventually become impossible to ignore. Respect every dollar that passes through your hands or God will not trust you with more. Number 6. You are surrounding yourself with people who have no financial vision. Proverbs 13 verse 20 says, "A companion of fools suffers harm." Your financial life will almost always average out to the people you spend the most time with. If every person around you is broke, has no savings, carries debt without concern, and celebrates lifestyle over investment, you will slowly absorb those values and habits without even realizing it is happening to you. This is not about abandoning people you love. It is about being intentional about who you allow to shape your thinking about money, business, investment, and the future. Find one person who has built something financially and ask them one honest question. Read one book by someone who started with nothing and built wealth over time. Change what goes into your mind consistently, and your financial decisions will begin to change naturally as a direct result. Number 7. You are making decisions based on how things look instead of how they work. Proverbs 12 verse 9 says, "Better to be a nobody and yet have a servant than pretend to be somebody and have no food." The pressure to look successful before you actually are successful is one of the most financially devastating forces in modern life. The expensive car in the driveway, the designer clothes, the restaurant meals posted on social media, all of it funded by debt and depleting savings. The person quietly building wealth in a modest home, driving a reliable used car, and saying no to things they cannot afford is not losing. They are winning in a way that is invisible to everyone watching. God said it is better to have genuine financial stability that nobody can see than to perform a lifestyle you cannot afford for people who are not even paying your bills. Appearance is a terrible investment. It costs everything and returns absolutely nothing. Number 8. You are not working on your skill. Proverbs 22 verse 29 says, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings, they will not serve before officials of low rank." The marketplace pays for value, it pays for skill, it pays for expertise that solves real problems for real people. A person with a genuinely sharp skill will always find income. A person with no skill that the market values will always struggle no matter how hard they pray for financial breakthrough. What skill are you currently developing? What are you genuinely getting better at every single week? What specific problem can you solve for people that they will open their wallets to pay for? If you cannot answer those questions clearly right now, then you have found one of the primary reasons your income has not grown. You cannot earn more than your current level of skill and value justifies. Sharpen the blade and the income follows naturally. Number 9. You are not planning and you have no written budget. Proverbs 21 verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." Joseph did not pray Egypt through 7 years of famine and hope things worked out. He built and executed a detailed national financial plan across 7 years of preparation. Planning is not a lack of faith. Planning is what faith in action actually looks like when it is working properly. A budget is not a punishment. A budget is a plan that tells your money where to go before the month starts, instead of wondering where it went after the month ends. Every dollar that enters your life without a plan will find its own destination. And that destination is never the savings account, never the investment, and never the future you keep praying about. Write the plan, follow the plan, adjust the plan, but have a plan. Number 10. You are not giving and therefore you are not in position to receive. Luke 6 verse 38 says, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use it will be measured to you." Giving is not a magic formula for getting rich, but a closed hand cannot receive anything new. Generosity positions your heart correctly toward money and breaks the power that money can have over you. Malachi 3 verse 10 says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse and test God in this." That word test is used nowhere else in scripture in this way. God specifically invited you to test him in the area of generosity. The person who holds everything tightly out of fear will lose it slowly. The person who gives faithfully and strategically and generously will find that provision follows them in ways they cannot always explain or take credit for. So here is the honest summary of everything we just covered. You may be poor, not because God forgot you, not because you were born under the wrong star, and not because the system is permanently against you. You may be poor because of 10 daily habits that God already warned you about in a book you own. Every single one of these 10 things is changeable. None of them require money to fix. They all require honesty, decision, and consistent daily action starting right now today. Pick one of the 10 things from this message, just one, and decide right now that tomorrow morning will be different in that specific area. Not all 10 at once. One, because one changed habit compounded over 12 months produces more financial progress than 10 broken promises made on the same day and forgotten by the following week. God gave you the blueprint. He gave you the warning. He gave you the ability to produce wealth. The next move is entirely yours to make.